just go ahead and put it in the chat. And Ryan Christofferson, Nebraska 24/7, go ahead.
Hey, Matt. Where have you been training at, and what's sort of your mindset heading in tomorrow? I mean, what goals do you have about what you want to show tomorrow?
I was out in New Jersey at the Test Football Academy, and then tomorrow, I just really want to be able to. I'm going to prove that I'm an athletic type of body, and I can move my body really well.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Matt, what have you changed about your body composition since the end of last season? What have you been working on, and what positions have teams given you feedback that they're looking at you for?
The main thing is I just wanted to get a more of a lean body, kind of get a stronger back, a stronger core. And so those are two really emphasized parts of my workout. And then I'm just going to be kind of a versatile interior guy that can play tackle wherever they need me.
Have they center, is that an option for you?
Anywhere on the field is, because I mean, I proved this last season that I'm capable of playing it, and I'm consistent with my snaps, and so I'm ready to play whatever position they want me at.
Thank you.
Lincoln Journal-Star, Parker Gabriel.
Hey Matt, is there a common theme, like when you're talking with teams, like what are the main things that they've asked you about, or does it run the gamut? I mean, are they asking you about moving positions during the season, or your ability to sort of stay on the field through your career? I'm just curious sort of what the feedback you've gotten generally from the NFL folks.
Really, the main thing is just kind of get to know me, what my personality is like, and then just kind of a quick quiz on, do I know the game of football? So I mean, it's been pretty standard, kind of more basic stuff, just to kind of see who I am and see if I know or have a decent amount of football knowledge.
Steve Sipple, Journal-Star.
Hi, Matt. Tony Tuioti was telling me the other day how important the nutrition program is to his linemen. In what ways was it important to you, especially when you got here, growing into the type of body you needed to compete in the Big Ten?
I mean, nutrition's a huge factor. I mean, you can have the perfect workout, but if you eat wrong, it doesn't matter. So if you, when you learn what you're putting into your body and what needs to be put into your body, if you're doing the correct things off the field and in the weight room, you're going to see exponential growth, and your game and your ability to play the game at a high level is going to increase as you learn to eat correctly.
Specifically, was there anything in particular you looked forward to on that training table?
I mean, I'm a simple guy. I really my go-tos were like chicken breast, spinach, and then whatever kind of simple carb they had laid out. I mean, for the most part, it was just trying to eat as clean as possible, and just kind of find a way to make it a little tasty with adding like some type of seasoning or sauce over it.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Matt, kind of tough to tell for sure on this little screen, but it appears that maybe you did succeed in getting more lean. Is there any measurement for you that you can share in how you've changed your body over these past 3 months?
Yeah. So from the season, I dropped down. I was playing at like 325, and then through training and that, I dropped to about 312, 315, and kind of leaned out a little bit. And I think through the measurements in that, I lost about around 5 pounds of fat and gained about 10 pounds of muscle. So it's been a good process so far.
How does that, when you're in a drill, when you're doing something physical, how much of a difference can you feel that makes for you?
It feels good. I mean, obviously, the more correct weight and lean body mass you put on, the easier it is to control your body and move it the way you want it to move. And so it's just everything's felt a lot smoother.
Great, thanks.
Hale varsity, Derek Peterson.
Yeah, Matt, I just have to ask first. You cut your hair. Why did you cut your hair?
So I cut my hair. It was I just did it through college. It was always my plan is I was going to grow it out through college because, I mean, when you're in college, it's kind of whatever. But at the end of it, my plan was always to donate it. So I cut it, donated it to Wigs for Kids. And just now is my new haircut.
Okay, that's awesome. Actual question for you. In what ways did Greg Austin help your game?
He just helped me understand kind of to play more relaxed, understanding that let it come to you. Don't try and force things to happen, and you don't always need to be the aggressor or the attacker. You got to have a little patience to your game and kind of let the play develop.
Thank you.
Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
Hey, Matt, spring practice at Nebraska starts next week. And as you kind of look at the direction of the offensive line here in the program after guys like you and Brendan have moved on, how promising is it when you see some young guys like Turner Corcoran and just the development guys like Bryce had last year when you look at the big picture of where the line is heading at Nebraska?
I think the line's heading in the correct direction. I think me and Hymus kind of helped lead them to the way that it takes to be a good O-line with a good unit. And I'm excited to see Turner and Bryce, and those older guys, Sichterman, Bando, they've all kind of stepped up in that leadership role, and which is fantastic because, I mean, that's the way the game goes. When someone steps out, the next guy has to step in and be ready to roll. And just being here a short little bit, those guys have really stepped up and embraced the leadership role that needed to be filled.
Take two more for Matt. Brian Christopherson.
Hey, Matt, there's so many guys in that Husker line room. Do you have a wild card that people aren't talking about as much that they maybe should keep an eye on?
Right now, I mean, it's not, they're really talking about all the right guys. Like that room is always it's full of good players, good guys that can develop, and a lot of guys that have talent that it just comes down to that one final thing clicking with them, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't think there's a true sleeper because, I mean, for the most part, it seems like almost every O-lineman's been talked about, so it's hard to it's hard to say there's a sleeper in there.
Personally, I was going to ask you also, do you get inspiration from guys like Starup, Brent Qualley, Jeremiah Searles type guys who have come through the program, and they didn't necessarily get a combine invite, some of them, but they impressed at pro day and they battled their way on the rosters. Do you look at their stories, or do you just kind of worry about your own thing?
Yeah, I mean, I always look like whenever those older guys, when they came back, I'd always kind of find a way to kind of stop and talk with them, kind of pick their brain. And I mean, I think their story is going to be extremely similar to mine. I'm not going to be walking down the red carpet. I'm going to be kind of trying to sneak in the back door, and I'm fine with that. I'm proud of that. I've always prided myself on being a hard worker, being tough, finding a way to overcome whatever's thrown in front of me, and seeing other guys do it as well. I mean, it's possible. You can do it. You can make a career and have a really good career because of it.
Thank you.
And last one for Matt. We'll go to Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Matt, I was just following up too on some of those young guys on the O-line here this spring. I mean, you were a guy who played early on the line as a young guy and kind of grew into it. What does it take physically and mentally to play on the line in the Big Ten at such a young age? What kind of challenges do these young guys have coming up for them?
I mean, you gotta be willing to take a hit. Sometimes you gotta be willing to throw your body. You gotta be tough, and you gotta understand that you might get beat. And is that one time getting beat going to be a lesson that you learn, or is it going to be I got beat twice, 3 times, 4 times? You got to be able to be mentally tough enough and strong enough that, okay, you got me once, I'm going to get you for the next 5. And I think those guys have done a really great job of kind of learning and seeing what it takes to be a good O-lineman. and they've really showed kind of improvements throughout the year when I was watching them grow just this last season.
All right, thank you, Matt, and we'll be back with Brendan Hymas in just a minute.